What's up, everyone? Episode 121. What a week. If you own crypto or stock, man, hopefully you've had your safety belt on. But yeah, it's just been a wild week as far as that goes. But we are excited to have we're excited to be back and update you on all the things going on with Tesla. How's everyone doing?
Well, I'll start off. I'm doing great, guys. In case you are catching this on Futuraza, we're co-streaming it there now. So the information here is just too valuable. We cannot hoard it to ourselves. We must share it. So if you're enjoying that, definitely leave comments. Let me know that this is something you want to keep seeing, and appreciate it. Yeah. Other than that, the week get ready for the Thanksgiving and all that. Oh, too much stress, man. Too much stress.
Way too much stress. But yeah, so if you're new to this, I think what this weekly update or weekly podcast is about. It's more of like a summarization of a lot of the key highlights that are going on in the Tesla space. Sometimes we'll get into some SpaceX and Elon things that he's up to, but really it's just to kind of give you an overview. It's not an insane deep dive on one specific topic. We'll go deep on some topics, but yeah, just I think. Let us know if you even have any feedback, maybe how we can make things better. But otherwise, Joe is our engineer when it comes to the deck, and yeah, we just keep you updated and give you the latest updates. Quick, Joe, we're gonna say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're blaming me is what you're doing. I get it.
No, I'm thanking you. I'm thanking you for your time every week. But also, yeah, so quick shout out to Insta360. They have an amazing Link 2C, which is a really good camera. I think we're working with some of you guys to get you guys hooked up with that. But a great camera that shoots in high quality to travel with. It's a great little portable buddy. So, but either way, check the link down below. But all right, let's get into it. Joe, by the way, Grok, we can't put it up right now, but they created like a video of like the Tesla Beat with like these heroes coming out the side of it. It was pretty dope, pretty dope. All right, guys, let's get into it. The stock and really just the whole market. So I think it's crazy. Like weeks back, we were up like 20%, 15% year to date. And that has all just been, you can see this kind of like fat heel that we have here, right? For the past, literally since September. And it's just pretty much just kind of all been eroded because of, how the overall market is doing. So it's not anything Tesla specific, but we are only up about 2.2% year to date. But yeah. All right, Joe, I'll kick this one to you.
Yeah, nothing big, you guys, is happening in the world of Elon news. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like the 500 megawatt thing they're doing with Saudi, right? And Jensen they have for XAI. That's pretty cool. And then he met with the president, of course. And I didn't put it here, but everyone talked about the shoes that they had when they were at the White House. But those shoes were made by Kizik like 2 years ago. Pretty crazy.
I just love how there was so much focus on the shoes, only to find out that these are meaningful shoes. These have a story. If I didn't know better, seeing these people together, you would assume all of these pictures are AI instead of just one of them or two of them. But we know that these meetings took place and big things are happening in the world. It's nice to see some cooperation between the parties actually doing it, because it suggests, that they're not at war with one another, which is always helpful.
I'm surprised that Greg Brockman and Elon Musk aren't like spontaneously combusting by standing next to each other. That has got to be some fun dynamics going on there at that dinner. Because for those that don't know, Greg Brockman is very, very prominent in OpenAI, and they used to work together very well, and now not so much.
Yeah, that was a shocker to me because, like, for me, it's like I know him and Sam go back and forth like all the time, especially with the things that have happened and transpired for it going from like a nonprofit to like for profit. And but either way, like there's a lot of drama there. So I was actually really shocked to see him go there. But they seem to be super cordial. But again, it might just be one person where it's just, you know, there's just a lot of bumping heads, to say the least.
I think certain things you put those kind of things on the back burner. I think when it comes to, I think Elon's pretty good at being able to separate professional from like personal. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, if they call this meeting, like he's going to be like, well, let's see how we can all work together. I mean, the goal is the same. Like we're all on the same continent trying to do better, and people may not realize it. And I know Hans is very prominent about this, but China is serious. Like it's like there's no joke. Like we are at a war that people don't even realize is happening, and it's serious. So to not be together on something like this, especially with AI, it's like it's kind of foolish not to be.
Well, I think if you're going to have a summit of leaders, like true leaders, people who led, you got to have Mary Barra. It's clearly
How
a
did you
sign
know? Yeah, she was the
of just quality.
she was the missing.
January 2026. She's going to be at the summit,
And it matters.
It matters.
Yeah, dude. She was the goat that was missing. But yeah, no, I think I personally love that they're doing this. I agree with Brian completely that, you know, AI or China is doing a lot right now. So I think it's vital that, you know, the leaders in the US continue to come together. And actually, I think I may have mentioned this last week, but really, you know, the future is going to be all these companies are spending trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars on AI. And, you know, Chamath gave a great example where it's like, you know, Thomas Edison and a lot of other people obviously, you know, made electricity and helped like, you know, get it going. But the one company that made the money on it was Coca-Cola when they created refrigeration. And I think that's what he said specifically with AI. It's like all these companies are kind of like electricity, are making electricity, making AI, but really we're waiting for that refrigeration moment in all of this. But more importantly than all of that, like it's great to see Elon and Jensen like friends, especially when you look at some of the history. I think, you know, like it was what, 9 years ago they, you know, were exchanging stuff about like a chip and stuff. There's just like a lot of history there. But it's great to see, you know, the greatest minds kind of coming together and really helping push forward and like, you know, especially with innovation. So it's really good to see, you know, people networking and working together to move the AI space, you know, further. All right. So I thought this was a really cool moment for Tesla. This is something that we had been given the heads up on. What this is this is the first North American supercharger that's Tesla managed but third party owned. So if you go to Florida Land O'Lakes, they even have their own branding. I can't read that just because I have, but it looks like it's called Suncoast. But there's some other it looks like there's a bunch of animals on it. But either way, you know, this is really, really good, right? Because Tesla is now going to be able to own like what's underneath the hood, as they would say. But in the front, it's going to be showing something else. And we've started to see this if you go to Shell or some of these other gas stations, they have charging stations, but it might be like a charge point on the back. But like on the front, it'll say like Shell, you know, Shell Energy or something. Yeah, Shell charging or something. You know, I thought that this was good. This is a huge milestone, and it'll be interesting to see how this grows. But I can see this, and because, like I said, here it says it's Tesla managed, so that's pretty crazy. It's like, so what they're literally doing is even outsourcing like the management of it and, you know, the maintenance of it. So yeah.
So here's what I was able to learn about this. I had a chance to talk with a installer in Florida. His electrical company was one of the first to get on board and become Tesla certified for home chargers, power walls, and all that, and now PowerShare. And he is getting his certification for this system. You can just buy one. And the question was, who would buy them? And the answer is maybe your casino wants one. Maybe your out of the way resort, where Tesla looks at it and says, this doesn't make sense for us to prioritize. It's expensive, it's difficult. And I don't think, the 4 months out of the year it's going to get use will justify all that hassle. You can go to them and say, I'm paying for it. Just bring it out. You do all the site prep. They bring it out. They install and electrify it. And then what Tesla gets for putting it on the network and managing it is 10 cents a kilowatt. So that still leaves plenty of room for profit, for margin for everyone, and affordable charging. And you can just buy them. You can also, by the way, Tesla Energy now has a program where your Airbnb can have a level 2 paid charger. Where you can put it in, your guest can use it, a one stall, and you can get paid whatever you decide it's worth. So that is also something that he's already setting up for customers. So yeah, Tesla Energy moving forward. I think at least 2 or 3 of us in this group have met folks from Tesla Energy. They're as sharp as any of the Tesla folks out there.
I just want to point out, there was a lot of consternation last year, or was that earlier this year, when they let a lot of the charging team go. And I'll say that, it's unfortunate in some ways, and, my heart goes out to the people that left, but it seems like Tesla Energy has been firing on all cylinders better since that event. And we've seen, expansion, streamlined, the amount of rollouts that they've been able to do. And the product is just, really, really exceptional. And then also, these types of systems where, okay, hey, we're going to do the work that's necessary to allow other people to help fund the expansion of the system into areas faster that we wouldn't necessarily want to prioritize, to Brian's point. And so I think this is really going to result in a lot better charging experience for a lot more people in a lot more places that wouldn't necessarily have been things that got built under the old way that things were being done. And so I think the clean sheet rethink of Tesla Energy and Tesla charging has been a very positive development.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's really cool to see Tesla Energy step up and take the reins on all of this. It's it's really, like Brian said, it's just a really great group of people that we've met, and really high intelligent, really trying to move the mission forward. But I think things like this are really cool to see, because you kind of realize, years ago, man, if Honda had made their cars and made the gas stations along with it, where would we be right now? You know what I mean? But then you realize, man, Tesla has this, and now they are third partying it out. It just makes way more sense. And then for them to manage it because of the uptime, it just makes even way more sense, because
there's a reason restaurants franchise.
Yeah.
And it's basically that. Yeah. There's great people in that department.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, you create the best charging network, and next best thing to do, it's going to be similarly with FSD. If they're able to license it out, you create the whole infrastructure, you create the whole process, you build really the gold mine and the whole factory to make it happen. And that's what they've done with the next gas station, or the future gas station. And so now it's like these companies can come to them and say, hey, I just want to make some money off this. This is the future. I want Teslas to be able to come here and have a way to pull off and give, money to the businesses in this parking lot, or whatever it is. But I also don't want to deal with the dirtiness of knowing how to work a product that is up 99.9% of the time. But it's just one of those things where it's like, you guys do all of that. And so I think this is a great opportunity for them to continue to expand the moat, and build relationships with people that maybe they wouldn't have, because maybe they don't want Tesla logo on it. Maybe they want the reliability of having a fast charger, but they feel like Tesla's their CEO's gotten too political, and so they don't want the logo on there. But So I think this is a great step in that direction.
I think also one of the cool things is shout out to Herbert, because I was saying that like what you were saying, like fueling stations or whatever, but he was like, no, we shouldn't. We should call it something else. And so I thought about that a lot, and I remember like back in the day, they used to be called filling stations. Like you could, fill your belly or fill your vehicle. So just a filling station. So now we have all these filling stations. It's pretty cool.
I suppose Juice Bar was already taken.
Electric juice.
Yeah, Juice Bar.
Jamba Juice.
That's the problem. It's so confusing.
All right. So legacy media being legacy media. And this is the type of stuff that you realize is just like they're there just getting clicks, right? It's like, it's the most like, again, even if Elon gave all of his money to help the poor or help solve, that's not going to fix the problem, right? It's just throwing money at something is not going to fix the problem. And even then, Elon has offered, hey, give me a plan. I think it was like $6 billion could solve. I mean, that wasn't even real, like as far as like the number, but hey, give me a plan. Let me see what it is. I'll help out. I'll give you $6 billion. Let me know. But it's just stuff like this. So long story short, the post was Elon Musk is set to make more than every U.S. elementary school teacher combined, according to the Washington Post. Elon says, and this is like, hey, here's some financial advice. I have earned none of that so far, and anyone who thinks Tesla becoming the most valuable company on earth by far is such a sure thing is welcome to invest and share in the outcome.
I, of course, saw this post as well, and it was a real head scratcher. Guys, I get it. Let's address wealth inequality. But when you start with a dishonest argument, we have nowhere to go. We can't take this discussion anywhere. And what is like, well, but this is more than all. No, this is a 10-year plan worth more than the teachers for 1 year. So already you picked the wrong number. There are other numbers that I'm sure would, maybe do nurses assistants or something, or just use some real numbers. And like you just said, John, if you're assuming that this is a done deal, baby, I got some free money for you right here. All you got to do is buy some shares. Buy one share. 2, it's free money. You cannot go wrong unless, and hear me out, you guys are just being dishonest to the core and saying anything you want because you're full of hate and anger. I had a gentleman in my comments say, why are we giving him $1 trillion? I go, first of all, I don't think you're a shareholder, so you're not. I'm giving him $1 trillion. John's giving him $1 trillion. All of us here. But the real problem is, I said, okay, fine, you're right. It's too much. How about we make him give half of it to the government so they can fund programs for veterans, for teachers, for any of these things? And he said, well, that'd be great if that happened. My brother in Christ, that is the tax code. I don't know how else to tell you that. If he gets paid that, he's going to have, once again, the largest tax bill in human history. He has paid more taxes than anyone else in world history over the entire course of their lives. He did it in 1 year. So I get it. We're mad. We're jealous, whatever it may be. But you gotta, if you want to, if you go at the king, you best not miss. And that was just a wild, terrible swing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hans.
And just, to put a fine point on how difficult his achievement of that pay package is going to be, one of the final, I had a great conversation with Phil Beisel about this, that we called it the final boss battle of his compensation package, is that Tesla has to earn $400 billion in EBITDA in a single year. It has to be on that run rate for 4 quarters straight. So like in one consecutive year point in time, $400 billion in EBITDA. And if you put a very conservative multiple on that of 30, because it's got to be growing in order to reach that rate, then you're just talking about a market cap of $12 trillion. If you go to a more kind of middle of the road growth multiple, you're talking about $20 trillion in market cap. And so, it's like, that's quite the accomplishment. If Elon can grow earnings to $400 billion, I think he definitely deserves to. Once again, the thing here is not that we want to give him a bunch of money. We want to give him increased influence over making decisions at Tesla, the public company where decisions can only be made by ownership of shares. So yeah, it's quite the crazy thing. You've got to have huge products. That's, the largest amount of earnings ever by any company was Saudi Aramco in the tail end of COVID, and it came out to be like 230 some odd, I think maybe roughly $240 billion in a single year, which is an insane amount of money. And Elon has got to do almost double that in a single year in order to earn his pay package.
It's over $1 billion a day in EBITDA that is required to. And you know what? We laugh now because it is impossible. We know it's impossible, just like all the milestones from the first one were impossible. And we saw people back then saying, yeah, but internally they were guiding to hit these milestones anyway. If you believe that, you should have invested because it would have been free money. The reality is it doesn't matter what they guide internally. It matters what they do externally. And everyone
Exactly.
looked at it and said, you're going to be more valuable than every car company combined. Doubtful. I am deeply skeptical. You're going to sell this many units. It's crazy. You're going to maintain all this profit. And then once he hits the milestones, they have to maintain them. And then he has to wait to sell his shares. These shares might not be sold until 2035. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like working for free. Apparently that's one of his hobbies that he and I do not share.
Yeah, I mean, you're like the Pope at this point. But yeah, like it goes to, a couple things, right? I think Joe, sorry if you weren't the person that mentioned, but it's like, I think Joe, it's like, who would you want him? So let's say he gives the money to the government, he gives it to some of these nonprofits. Does the money actually ever make it to the kids? In some cases, yes. I can tell you right now, my wife is from Uganda, and she can tell you, like, she could go off all day about how millions of dollars would roll in from the US, hit Uganda, and you want to know, does it go to the kids? Nope. It stays at the top. And the amount of corruption that you would have to deal with and just audits to see if that money, like, unless they literally had people taking the money to the orphanage and vetted, that's the only way that this stuff would actually get to the place. But even then, throwing money at a big problem isn't going to solve anything. But I think what's most important here is I think Hans and Brian, you mentioned the insane value and the valuations and market caps that Elon has to create. But I think that's just market cap. But look at the amount of jobs, the amount of suppliers that are going to get work because of this. For every one Tesla employee, there's 10 probably jobs created through supply chain. So now imagine, that's essentially almost 1 million people are getting jobs just based off of the 120,000 employees that Tesla has today. So it's just one of those things where, Tesla is going to create an insane amount of value. And even if it goes to half that, as an investor, I'm stoked. Elon doesn't get paid out, but I got a lot of benefit from that, even though he's working. So he may not even get paid at all per se, in this case. And so it's just, it's stupid. But it's like, no one's going to read an article about, Elon Musk trying to achieve an insane plan. No, they're just going to talk about how he's already achieved it and how he's going to get paid $1 trillion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. All right.
On that note,
go back.
if anyone wants to go deeper into all the value that Elon has created for the market and for the economy, Larry Goldberg had a really great little post on that the other day on X. So go check out Larry Goldberg and find his article. It was fantastic, and it goes into a lot more detail on the point that John was just making, which was excellent.
Yeah. All right, Joe, this one's to you.
Oh, Canada. So they get the Model Y Performance. It's going down. Now available to order in Canada. So there's a guy on X who has a Model Y Performance, the Legacy version, and he's always like doing donuts and all kinds of stuff on. He crazy driving. But I can't wait to see what people do with the Model Y Performance out in Canada. It's going to be good times. They deserve it.
My response to the post was, guys, if you're in Canada and you want the finest performance, fun, luxury German automobile, buy a Model Y Performance, 'cause that's where they're from. They're from Giga Berlin. You get all your itches scratched at the same time. You're coming out ahead.
Coming out ahead. All right. China gets sexy. Tesla has released the updated 2026 S and X in China, but you can only buy through inventory. So looks like they are shipping a bunch of these from San Jose or Fremont, California, out to China and probably creating some type of inventory. But hey, you got some extra dollars. You can afford the extra expense, definitely go check it out. But these also are the updated ones, so it has like the front facing camera and a lot of the additional some of the new fashion facelifts and things like that. So definitely go check it out. But you can get one of these now in China.
Interestingly, in every showroom I went to in China, they had a Model X because it's a showstopper. It always had the doors open, so you could get the full experience. But people weren't really buying them. I didn't see many on the road. I didn't see any on the road, but you did see endless threes and Ys. But I think at some point you got to turn that inventory over and get the new ones in. If we're sending a shipload anyway, might as well sell a few.
Might as well. All right, Joe, this one's to you.
Saving lives matters, you guys. You guys probably didn't even know this, but safety first for Tesla. I'm pretty sure nobody on this pod had any idea that this was possible. No, FSD supervised saved lives. The stats are pretty incredible, but there in Europe, the Model Y receives 5-star rating for the Euro NCAP, superior scores, improved safety, like just added everything. Like they did a really good job on the safety for the FSD, and now that they got supervised, it's pretty incredible. So I like the fact that when people talk about FSD, well, when they talk about Tesla, they don't really talk about FSD. They talk about like other things that are kind of irrelevant in the long term, whereas FSD and the lives that it's potentially set to save and that it has saved is like what matters most. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of bad drivers. FSD, like Brian likes to say, is not going to get distracted. It's not going to be texting. It doesn't drive drunk. You know what I mean? So it's just safety is such a big thing for Tesla. And I think that's like usually goes missed when people talk about Tesla a lot. So I think it's pretty cool to see.
And the big thing to point out with FSD and really with every form of AI is this is the worst it's ever going to be. It is only getting better from here. And if you're looking at it going, boy, this is only, 85, 95% of where I need it to be. Hey, man, the times they are a changing. If you go back even a year or two, Chat GPT has only existed for a very short time, and it's already a part of the everyday life of a whole lot of people. And that's true of all the AIs. And I tell you, after a bunch of driving, I finally got 14.17 yesterday. My gosh, is it good.
Yay.
And not only was it just as good in everyday situations as 13 for me, where I live, but when it got to where we were going, it's like, I'm just going to find the one open parking spot and park correctly in it. And we're just sitting there shaking our heads. This is nice. I like this. It's a lot of fun.
Did you happen to have 14.1.4 before that, Brian?
I had none of the 14s. I had a chance to drive 14.14. A friend came over and we drove his car for a couple hours. So this was all new to me. We did all the different, we didn't do Mad Max. I've got enough of that without playing that game. But we did Sloth, Chill, Standard, and Hurry. Or as I call it, Hooray, because it's a little exciting. But it's, yeah, and we did hundreds of miles yesterday. And my son drove about half of the miles because this is how we experiment, it's how we figure it out. And we couldn't find flaws.
So is 14.17? So I have 14.14. I haven't experienced 14.1.7 yet. I'm curious on smoothness. So one of the things about 14.1.4 is it's still a little bit cautious, and if it sees things that it gets scared by, it will brake stab and startle you potentially quite nicely. It does make really solid decisions. I'm very impressed by the overall, like its ability to see things, its ability to take things far away into account and everything. But yeah, as far as driver comfort, it can be a little bit on the nerve-wracking side.
So the brake flutter, which I definitely experienced in 14.1.4 last week, was absent. It was just smooth. There was one place where we were telling it to turn right, and it started to get into the bus lane, got out, and then took the correct turn. So we looped the block, and it did the exact same thing again. Still fine. Probably didn't need to get over. To me, the biggest improvement in everyday driving is it gets over sooner. There's a section of my town where it'll wait until there's 0.1 miles left to get over 2 lanes. I find that unpleasant. It no longer does that. It'll get over 0.3 miles early instead, which is the correct way to drive. We're not saving more than 8 seconds doing it the other way, and we're annoying a lot of people. So the brake stabbing, the brake fluttering, I didn't observe it yesterday. We only did about 200 miles in total over maybe 6 different drives. So, but it was great. Everything, it just worked. This is a version that I would be happy to take strangers out in to show them what it does.
Yeah, for me, what I've seen, so I had like 14.1.3, 4, 7, and then now I have 14.2 outside, but don't have time to drive it right now. But what I so 14.1.3 had an insane amount of stuttering, phantom braking, all of that. Now you get hints of it, especially around pedestrians. It kind of will flutter, flutter, stutter, whatever, a little bit. Um, and then similarly, it has problems with leaves as well. So I think if you have like as the fall is kind of turning and leaves are falling on the ground, it will react and stutter a little bit as well. And then sometimes when I'll see it making a left, and this is all feedback based off of 14.1.7. If you're making a left or maybe sometimes even a right, it's picking which lane to go to. So it'll kind of like shake a little bit and then it goes. But for me, the thing is what makes V14 such a huge leap forward is just the park to park experience, literally pressing a button, going to the next place, being able to change the selection that I want, whether I want to do curbside because I'm dropping my son off, or if I want to do the parking lot. What I've already also been able to see is we have an Apple store in downtown Los Gatos, and the first 14.1.3, it would just loop the same loop 3 times because it wanted to park on the street. But even when I said parking lot, it wouldn't be able to figure it out. It would just loop. But now I'm able to do it and actually can find the back parking lot and go and park in the back. So you're talking 2 or 3 versions. It's actually also adjusting. Because I think the biggest issue again, not everyone, 99% of the people are not in these crazy urban areas. But it's going to be able to, like, how does it park efficiently in, a little bit busier areas and know kind of the lay of the land to be able to, like, hey, maybe it's a prompt saying, hey, I'm gonna have to go a little further. Just want to get your okay, unless you want it to keep looping, or there's just stuff like that it can interact with.
So the other thing that was the real thing that was new was the first and last, 1 minute of every drive. It can now leave my driveway. Before it would have backed just straight into my hedge. It can see it. I'm still going to do it. I hope you don't like your pain. But now it'll cautiously, because the hedge goes right up to my driveway, it'll now cautiously exit the driveway. The entire driveway is just covered in leaves. We're out there raking twice a week. It doesn't matter. The trees are 100 years old. It can't see the driveway, so it's very cautious, but it got out just fine. And now, for the first time ever, it will pull into my driveway. Amazing. I do not know how to select where to have it end the ride, though. Where's that button? How do I get that to show up? It still parks just fine, but I have yet to find the option up here on screen, and maybe I'm doing the menus wrong. Any advice on that, anybody?
It's right there. Like when I'm pointing right here. But
You're
no,
pointing to
on
your
the
screen. I know what the screen is.
no on the screen under where you select standard and all that, it's a drop down menu for where to park. I mean how
Really?
to park. So
So all I have to do is stare at my screen and let it flash blue at me.
no.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, no, it's really 1417 is really cool. I like the fact of like even in the Cybertruck, just starting your destination by pressing a button is like that to me was like already game changing. So I've already been impressed. So I can't wait for 14.2.
Yeah. Hans, were you gonna say something?
I normally do that when I'm either right as I'm arriving or when I'm leaving for the destination and put it in one of the two. There's a little arrow down that you can hit to expand it, and then you can see the options for destination.
Yeah, that's all you have to do is just select the drop down and you can select different things: curbside, parking lot, charger. If you're going to a supercharger. I know Zach, Black Model 3 is able to, he's got a supercharger down in LA that can go up to the 5th floor. At Santana Row for myself, it will go up 3 floors and then go out. I'll have to go back there, but we'll see. And I'm excited because I think Elon mentioned 14.2. Again, that's why it came a little early, but he was like, you can text and drive with 14.2. But again, that not that you should do that. I'm just saying like that's what he was saying about 14.2 and 14.3. So that's why I'm kind of excited to see what that's like.
I mean, you should be able to take a few seconds to send a quick message and like you. I mean, I look away
Driving
to
advice.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I look to freaking find a song on Spotify, and it's like, hey. It's like, calm down.
Calm down.
Or look to the left at a blind intersection for a few seconds to try and keep track of the cars that are about to murder you.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't do that, Hans. That's a problem. That's your first mistake.
Or just look to the left or to the right and watch the people texting as they're on the phone. And as you're supervising.
Also a mistake. You should not be aware of your surroundings.
All right. So Colombia now has the 3 and Y ready to order. So if you live in that region, go check it out. It looks like they're going from the Model 3. Wow, $29,000. Do we know, are these coming from Austin?
They got to be coming from China at those prices.
Wow.
But China is part of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. No, wait, I guess they aren't. But they do have trade agreements with China. China's not in the TPP, but they have the ability to. I mean, these are probably the same ones that we're seeing in Mexico.
Nice.
Oh, the ones in Mexico coming from China?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like, let me just take something, the same thing, ship it over the over the whole Pacific Ocean and across the world. But hey, that's what's happening in Canada.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Joe, this one's to you.
Yeah, FSD 14.2 is on the way to everyone. John has it. He hasn't driven it yet. But there is a whole list of things here. Did you want to list these, John? Did you want to go through them?
I'm sure if you want to, or what are you guys thinking?
Just high level bullet points would be great.
Shoot, so that's a good one. I mean, there's so many. Upgraded the neural networks, vision encoder, leveraging high resolution features to further improve scenarios. I think that's what Hans was talking about, like how it can see further. Oh, look at it. It says it obstacles on the road and human gestures.
One of the things it says is added alerting for residue buildup on interior windshield camera. I got that notice yesterday. So I think some of these may have been already implemented.
Yeah, I think the hand gestures.
Yeah,
is
this
cool.
might be exactly the same. It's like it's just a new update. No, like it's probably just another iteration. But going to 14.2 is a big deal. At least what they were talking about at the show.
The smoothness hasn't been added, Hans. It says here upcoming overall smoothness and the sentience, parking spot selection, and parking quality.
Oh, look at that.
Parking quality.
Yeah.
Mad Max, get in there.
It just Mad Maxes to the
Move, people.
We do need to have, I think Larry Goldberg said this, we do need to have the ability to say, please do or please do not park in the handicap spot. Because that's kind of a legal thing.
I think the reasoning
Yeah.
is going to take care of that. But also, somebody Triangle brought this up yesterday. Was he would like to be able to, when you go into FSD, to have the steering wheel move out of the way. That'd be pretty cool.
That was in the movie Sixth Day, I think it was called, with Arnold.
Yeah,
They had FSD on the highway, and the wheel would kind of pull out of the way, and you just enjoy your highway drive.
that'd be pretty dope. That should be an
Hans,
option.
were you gonna say something?
I was just saying that would be pretty awesome.
You are
Pretty
correct.
awesome. You are correct.
So for all the Tesla engineers that are watching our show, make note.
Exactly.
We joke,
Um,
but a lot of employees do watch this. Employees of Tesla, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for understanding that we are engaged and we care.
Hey, maybe Elon stopped in last week. He did give this podcast a like last week. So who knows? Maybe he was watching the whole time as he was scrolling through bangers on X. All right. So EVs outsell diesel. European sales of electric cars overtake diesel models. So you have the 3 and the Y, obviously at the top. And then you have some of these, the Wuling Mini, it looks like in September, and then year to date, I can't even, it's kind of, it's Geely Gnome, maybe. So, but either way, again, Tesla continues to outpace, and I think that this is going to continue through the end of the year. Given the slowdown, I would assume the Model Y is still going to be probably, because I know it's been the best-selling car in a lot of these countries, but I don't know from year to date. Like, so do we think it's going to end with being the best-selling car in the world again?
I'm skeptical. I think the RAV4 is going to beat it this year because there was a downtime at all the 4 factories that make the Model Y. And the RAV4, they just overproduce the heck out of it. So when there's a switchover, no one notices because the lots are so full at the dealerships. So I would be surprised if it's in number 1, but not super surprised. We've only got, a matter of weeks left in the year. So it's going to come down to the wire, but I think it's not a disappointment if it doesn't. We know the reason why. It's not a lack of interest in the product, despite what the people who would never buy one and can't afford to anyway might tell you. It is still the best selling car in the world. And what did they do? They made it even better for the same price. That's how you continue to maintain dominance.
I think it's pretty wild that, sorry, Hans, but I was going to say really quickly, I think it's pretty wild how well the Model Y and 3 sell at the price points that they're at. When you're looking at the Geely Gnome and stuff like that, it's like half the price.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't forget that next year they'll have a full year of sales with these newer, even cheaper models, which I expect to drive some really nice volume as well. So that's going to be fun to see how this plays out over the next year.
That is actually a really great point. We're going to have the more affordable model. The only people who complain about the value proposition are in the US and are comparing it to the with the price with the IRA credit. The rest of the world didn't get the IRA credit. It doesn't apply to them. So this is the more affordable models are simply more affordable. And then you got the YL, which is already in China, will certainly at some point expand to all the markets served by Giga Shanghai. And then hopefully all the other markets as well, because there are a lot of people who would simply want it just for the storage space. Forget the third row. I just want a slightly bigger cargo area. Or maybe you do want that third row. There's demand for it in other markets, I'm confident.
One question I have for the panel is, I have heard that, I'm not going to say from who, but you can maybe put 2 and 2 together. I have heard that like the standard range isn't doing as well as expected. As far as like, people wanting it. And I think we kind of all, maybe in the Tesla space, it's like, if you're going to lose $5,000, is it worth just going and getting the premium version? But my question is like, at what point, like, I guess like, so from a production line point, how much of it is like, if it's not driving enough volume, especially if these are their mass production cars, the 3 and the Y, at what point maybe will they either kill the line, at least in the US? Because I think, like I said, like I looked at those prices in Colombia. Those are probably the new standard range. It's the new standard range version, right? That's how you get to those prices. But at what point does it make sense, at least maybe in the US, to not have that line? Or is it just so the way that they run these lines anyways, it really is not a big deal if they have like a small variation line that has for the standard range, that they'll just keep it open no matter what?
I think they'll just keep it open no matter what. The line's running, the line's there. It's not a big hassle. The fact that they're still making SNX should tell you that they're not afraid of low volume. And SNX, at some point, if the volume gets low enough, they'll kind of have to cancel it. But this wouldn't, because the line is just running. Anybody have any other thoughts on that?
Well, keep in mind that these low numbers we're talking about are the max numbers for a lot of these other companies. So I don't think they're going to kill the line because they're only selling like 4,000, which I mean, Rivian makes like what, 4,000 a quarter or something like that. So, well, a
It's
little
true.
bit more, right? Yeah.
It's true. The abysmal Model S sales are still better than Lucid's record-breaking quarters.
Hans, you have any input?
Yeah, I mean, I think the question will be whether or not you want to maintain a supply chain that serves those differentiated parts for a specific factory. You may, concentrate all of the production of a specific trim to a factory, and then, focus production of that car for the markets that are served by that factory. Like, there's a whole bunch of complicated things that really factor into what you do and do not want to do. But yeah, I think it will make sense to continue to do that, and especially as the Cybercab comes online, that's where I think we'll see big decisions that are driven really around, I think, more accommodating the ramp up in Cybercab and how much focus they want to place on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, just to continue on that point that Hans brought up, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and it's pretty wild. Like his daughter is like in her 20s, and she does not want to get a driver's license. She Ubers everywhere and robo-taxi this, and what I mean, like, it's just, we're entering that state of we don't want to admit it, but Elon's kind of right. We're entering an area where people don't want to drive as much as we think we do, because we come from that generation where it was good to get out and do stuff. These people, they're not in that generation. They can be in their phones in solitary confinement in a room locked for hours. Like, I mean, we grew up where we played in the streets. So yeah, we're of a different breed, and
yeah, come on, Grandpa. Driving is for boomers.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty wild, but
Yeah,
it's so true.
I can confirm that. Shout out, I won't mention his name. Shout out to my nephew. He's 16, doesn't want a car. Just not like, hey, even we can go get you one like tomorrow. Not interested. It's so it's just I think that could be, again, one of these things where it's like, I think we've seen this, right? Is people, even when they think of cars, like, in our parents' generation, potentially, they're all about tinkering, taking the wrench and messing around with things like that, right? And this next generation, right, they just want to go from A to B. They want an iPhone that just works, that there's not a whole lot of give and pull. And now you're also potentially talking about a generation that really just, they don't want to drive. So Tesla has both opportunities in both spaces, where with the robotaxi, obviously, and two, just having a car that you don't have to drive and has literally like no maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Like, you talk about a kid who doesn't want to have to spend money to buy gas or to charge up or to worry about the maintenance on the vehicle. He doesn't have to replace the tires. He doesn't have, what I mean? Like, I mean, we're not from that generation. So to us, it's like, just maintenance your vehicle. But to them, they're like, save the money. I don't even have to worry about that stuff. They don't have to worry about paying insurance. They don't have to worry about none of that.
Yesterday, I had the pleasure of driving a U-Haul 10-foot box truck for an hour and a half, and what a treat it was. I really wanted my 21-year-old to get a chance behind the wheel before we returned it, but it didn't work out because he's only ever driven Teslas. So he has no idea just how awful cars can be, especially, I mean, it's the motor is just not big enough for what you're driving in that truck. It's wheezing, it's terrible, it's slow, it's scary. Yeah, these are the easiest cars to drive, and the young folks still don't want to do it. Of my kids, my 23 and 26-year-old do not have licenses or interest in licenses because enough of us drive. They're like, yeah, just take me, or I won't go.
It's
And
wild,
then
man.
Brian, just a quick question: are the friends of your kids friends, or what? Your kids' friends, are they all? It's I would assume the same, right? It's
They don't
a
drive
lot of-
either. None of
Yeah.
them got cars.
Yeah.
Cars, they're expensive. There's so much work. We'll just
Yep.
hang out on Zoom. I mean, they don't use Zoom. That's also, I mean, they use much cooler methods of hanging
Discord.
out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Crazy times. All right. So if you need a holiday gift, the Tesla Semi holiday device is out. You can have a Cybertruck. I actually just got mine in, so I need to do a quick unboxing. But it'll be nice to put this under the tree and kind of have like a wooden playset. But yeah, so if you need a gift, go check it out. They're out there. And Joe, I'll pass this one to you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Robotaxi is now open to all. I forgot to add the Bay Area to this, which is why that space is off to the side. But open to everybody if you have an iPhone. It's not open to the Android users yet, but the Robotaxi app is open to everybody with an iOS device.
All right. So of course, I was texting Kyle. I was like, this was months back. I was like, hey man, so I'm expecting you to be here in like the next 24 hours. He's like, no, man, got a lot going on. So he was out here now. He hit 500 kilowatts. He hit 500 kilowatts and was out here testing. So it really only happens for a second if you get it literally down to 0 and like 1 mile, if not 0 miles. But still cool, especially too, because these boxes can charge up to 8. I believe it's 8 instead of 4, which it was previously. But I hit 500 kilowatts with all 8 stalls being used. So it was still cool to see that, this thing doesn't let down. And then I think it can charge up to 1 megawatt as well. So a lot of room to expand. Exciting to see that, Kyle was out in the Bay Area checking this out.
Yeah,
So
he mentioned in the comments. Sorry, Brian. He mentioned in the comments that he did it for a minute.
Ooh. So I have a video coming out tomorrow. I interviewed Sith from Electric Era Chargers. They make public fast chargers. He's a former SpaceX employee. And what we did is made a video where we showed the inside of the V4. We've seen leaked photos of it, and he walks us through what all the pieces are. And he mentions that, yeah, the Cybertruck will do 500 for seconds, literally seconds. But in those few seconds, you're getting, so many miles. Hey, got to count that. So if you want to see the autopsy of a V4 charger, we're doing that tomorrow.
Awesome.
Sounds epic. All right, Joe, what is this?
This is the new upbeat. I added 4 people.
4, but what is that to maybe some of the other people on Brian's channels?
Oh yeah. For the Futuraza folk. Yeah, this is the upbeat. This is going to be a really quick turn of our takes on some of the news that's happening. Just a quick minute we got for each and every person. I think I put 4 of them in there so we can do 4 different
I may hit the first one.
quick takes. Okay.
The first one.
All right.
Not that, but yeah. All right. This one, May is a joy. So the Tesla owners of Austria got an opportunity to go and meet her in Lisbon, Portugal. And pick her up, bring her, and the dress that you see on the right was made in Austria, in a very special way for her. So looking forward to this interview, but really cool. I know this has been in the works for a moment, but really cool to see, literally 3 years ago, the Austrians meeting her in San Luis Obispo, and 3 years later, they're interviewing her. So in a completely different country. And so life will just take you different places. But yeah, so on the right hand side, or I guess my right, maybe it's your left, but where May is, they're also wearing Lederhausens as well, which is the typical male garb in Austria.
Hosen.
So
Lederhosen.
I'm saying, yeah.
I think traditional is the word you're looking for rather than typical.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, they don't wear that all the time.
Hey, no, if you
I've,
go to
I've
the
met those guys, and they don't
Just-
dress
Tesla
like that all the
takeover,
time.
no, you got to go meet
Just
them
the-
in Austria.
What John is saying is the parties he goes to, they do.
Hey, Lederhosen.
Shout out to Gary, myself, and the Austrians we wore when we were at the Tesla takeover in Europe.
Yeah.
All right, so we will pass this one to you, Brian. Elon open to Apple.
So here's the question: is do you cooperate with your enemies, or do you become frenemies? Keep your enemies close, your friends close, and your enemies closer. Look, if you've got the best product, maybe people will want to use it. We're seeing that with a lot of Elon's companies where people tried to go their own way. We're going to launch Kuiper, but we're not going to use SpaceX. That's a terrible idea. The shareholders sued Amazon over that. Use all of the above. Wait, SpaceX is also cheaper and more reliable. You have to use them. And so we're seeing that. Will other companies continue using Elon's products? Absolutely. They're crazy not to. And business, at the end of the day, business is business. So Apple has struggled with a number of their products where they hit a local maximum. And at that point, they're like, this is terrible. This is so much work. We don't know how to get to the next level. Maybe, just maybe, work with someone better.
Well, I think the main point of that is Siri was for all intents and purposes was great in the beginning, but with the current state of AI, Siri is just not up to task. Like AI is just like way eclipsed.
Grok went from Grok in the car. Yesterday we used it. It was I said, hey, are there, because my wife has dietary needs, are there gluten-free restaurants in this small town that we're going to? And it listed a couple. I'm like, yeah, what are the, like where is that one? What are the prices? It's like, oh, if you want cheap stuff, I can, and it starts listing restaurants with the prices from the menus. Come on, Siri, let me see you try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Siri definitely sits right on top of the leaderboard for absolute worst voice assistant of any major product out there.
My Google Home speakers beg to differ.
Yeah.
They get worse every year. I don't know how you do it, but they get worse and more unreliable every year. I feel cheated.
Yeah, the Siri is absolutely the worst, and my opinion is, the fight is also over, who's going to have an AI on a device, and Apple is just they're asleep at the wheel, like no one's there. You go and knock on the window, no one's answering because they literally have a device that they can create with AI to live on top of internally, and then create agents that literally can go in within the device and operate. That's literally like, if you need another billion-dollar, trillion-dollar idea, there you have it, right? Like, just so I don't know what they're doing, but Grok and Elon clearly are open to discussing further opportunities. All right, Hans, fixed Cybertruck recall. Looks like Tesla develops new mounting bracket for recalled off-road truck light bar.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have fixed. It is a very simple, straightforward thing, and recalls happen. It is unfortunate. This is an actual recall, and it affects all of thousands of vehicles. Unlike what the mainstream media wants to call recalls all the time, that are quick software updates that impact much of the fleet. So, one of the rare cases where there is a real legitimate recall that has been handled and handled well.
Instead of a patch. Quit calling patches recalls. You're driving me crazy. And I'll tell you, NHTSA will not change the terminology until so many manufacturers are using it that they ask for it to be changed. And then they'll be like, oh, if everyone's doing it, then yeah, we got to call it something else. It's ridiculous.
All right, Joe, SpaceX chops the chopsticks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They were seen making it smaller because they have to align with the shorter versions that they started using. It's pretty cool. And I added in the campaign for the Falcon 9 here is pretty cool. They got the new boosters. It's good. SpaceX is just like crushing it on all cylinders. And I know it would be cool to be invested in for a lot of people, but man, we can't. And I wish we could.
Exactly. All right. Well, closing us down, just real quick, a couple highlights here. If you're looking for some good Black Friday deals, we'll be sending out an email shortly. TeslaSiliconValley.com/sign up. Some really cool deals that we'll be highlighting. If you want also to just check out some off the beat stuff, we have the Tesla Owners of Silicon Valley Off the Grid channel that we launched several months back. And then just some stuff that's coming up. We've interviewed now 4 patients from Neuralink. We have the 7th one coming up here on December 2nd. Jake, he's patient number 7. And then if you are in the area, this is going to be a real treat. The Palo Alto Police and Fire Department are teaming together literally across the street from Tesla's engineering headquarters. They will be blocking off the whole block. We got permits, everything approved. We will be doing a toy drive, block party, and a light show to end the day from xlightshow.io. So come and join us, bring some presents. But with that said, please.
If you're saying that, tell me the date again, and should I go? That's only 12 hours away. Yeah,
exactly.
So should we make an announcement right now? Brian will be at it.
Oh, yes, we will.
I'll double check
December
my calendar.
13th. Yeah,
But
go
I
check your calendar.
Yeah,
should
I'm available.
Yeah, see if you're available. Yeah, come. At that point, if you're driving up, I'll bring presents for you.
Sweet. Sweet.
But yeah, go. But yeah, with that said,
Talk to Tim, see if we can get you a chair by that
Right,
time.
I will.
yeah, exactly. Well, make sure you have the space. Don't bring too many people.
I'm not.
Yeah. But with that said, please patronize our host today, SJV Tesla Joe, or Triangles Rule. He's got his ugly sweater on sale as well. Angles Rule, and then we have
It's Triangles Rule.
Sorry, man. I just saw some of the. But hey, Angles Rule too, bro. There's a lot of angles on the Cybertruck.
He's a cute.
Yeah. But also Brian and Hans, again, they're tagged here on X and YouTube as well. Give their channels a follow if you want, regular daily deep dives and weekly deep dives, whether it's Tesla AI or supply chain, anything that you have there. So, but either way, we will catch you guys all next week. And hopefully you guys all, for those that celebrate Thanksgiving, if you were in the US, hopefully you have a great time with your family, and we will catch you guys all next week. And hopefully the markets stay intact. Have a good week, everyone.